NFL Network analyst Daniel Jeremiah has even predicted that Dak Prescott would win MVP this year. Not only did Dallas draft another receiver for Dak and CeeDee Lamb, but they also paired him with new head coach Mike McCarthy, who helped Aaron Rodgers win 2 MVPs in Green Bay. So, Skip, this is your team.
Yep.
How much pressure is on Dak Prescott?
Let me first say, Mr. Sharp, this might be the strangest development I've ever tried to figure in all the years that I've been covering the National Football League. For the last 4 years, I have basically been on an island over here defending and loving Dak Prescott. In fact, there have been days when I felt like I was the only man in the world who still supported him because many, from what I've read in Cowboy Nation, were very down on Dak. I remind everyone, the Hall of Famer across from me over the last 13 games last year gave my man Dak Prescott 7 Fs for his performances.
He earned them. I didn't just give them.
7 out of 13 times. And then this happened. Jerry Jones, who can be the most hated owner in sports, somehow managed to turn my guy Dak Prescott into not only just a sympathetic figure, but into a hero because Jerry done him wrong. Jerry, pay the man. Pay him what? He offered him a very fair deal. Pay the man, said the world. And all of a sudden, it felt like Dak Prescott had been confined to the poorhouse by Jerry Jones because he had strapped him with that franchise tag. How dare you, Jerry, do that to poor Dak Prescott?
Yeah, the man getting assistance.
This was combined with what I've been calling the CD syndrome, CeeDee Lamb. Here he comes, and all of a sudden, I first guessed this. I told you he was the best receiver in college football, but once he landed in Dallas's lap at 17, it's like the world said, my God, Dak Prescott now has 3,000-yard receivers, and CeeDee might be the best of them. That could be true. And all of a sudden, that vaulted Dak Prescott, all of the above, vaulted Dak Prescott up to 3rd in the Caesars Palace odds for MVP. 3rd? He's 4th in the Fox Bet odds. Daniel Jeremiah says he'll be 1st in the MVP race.
Wow.
I've seen other experts say, yeah, they give Dak a great shot to win MVP. Dak Prescott? Seriously? Who got 7 Fs down the stretch from Shannon Sharp? You're kidding me. All of which is why, to me, the quarterback in the National Football League with by far the most pressure going into this season is Dakota Prescott. Think about the scrutiny. Think about the expectation. Think about the ESPN simulation that we're going to talk about again in a minute featuring the Dallas Cowboys. They're going to the Super Bowl, says the ESPN simulation. Pressure is mounting on the quarterback without a contract. And you know what's going to happen from game to game. If Dak has a big one, take that, Jerry. And if Dak struggles,
that's why I didn't pay it.
Could be advantage, evil empire, Jerry and Steven, right?
Right.
We'll go back and forth. Advantage, 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 advantage. This is just me, and I love my guy, but I thought he started pressing last year after the first 3 games in which he had huge games against, said Shannon Sharp, bad teams, and you were correct about that. 3 big games against the Giants, the now Washington football team or whatever they're calling themselves, and the Miami Dolphins. And yet after that, remember that contractual impasse, according to Yahoo, it deepened and worsened. It got ugly after the first 3 games. Both sides dug in. It got a little bitter. And I thought Dak began to press. What happened that Sunday night at New Orleans? Remember that game? They lost 12-10 to Teddy Bridgewater. Dak's offense scored 10. You just savaged him for that one, right? Then Green Bay happened at home. They fell behind 31-3. And you said that has something to do with the quarterback.
Correct.
Correct? At Jets, you're up in Denver, up in Mile High, seeing your team, but you're watching on one TV the Cowboys at Jets.
I was in the owner's suite.
And it goes to the bitter end, and Dak's offense manages 22 points in part because Amari just flat out said, no, Moss, I quit. My leg hurts.
Is Amari still on the team?
Yeah, he's still up there. So they lost 24-22 at the Jets. It was just such an embarrassment, and then came down that stretch where at New England, 13-9. Dak
What? Y'all was scoring 9 points?
Yikes. Bills, Thanksgiving, biggest stage in America. Eat your turkey, feast, Buffalo feast. And it was at one point 26-7 Buffalo. It ended up 26-15. And I was the first to say Dak wasn't very good. And at Chicago on that fateful Thursday night, they fall behind 24-7, and Dak rallies them furiously in the fourth quarter, and they lose 31-24. But you know what was happening, nothing good. And finally, at Philly, the final score was 17-9. Dak had a banged-up shoulder, but still, he was pretty awful. So my point is, think of the pressure. I think he's pressing, and now the whole world is going to be focused on the quarterback of America's team. Show us, Dak. Show him, Dak. Do it. We want a big year. We want an MVP year so we can hate Jerry even more. Man, I feel like good luck.
For me, Skip, look, I expect a big season out of Dak because I know what this offense does for quarterbacks. You look at the quarterbacks, and I'm not saying he's this guy. So let's just say, okay, Joe Montana won 3 MVPs in this offense. Brett won 3. Aaron Rodgers won 2. Matt Ryan won 1. Patrick Mahomes won 1.
I mean, the concept is there. It's not exactly.
Yeah, but it's the principle. I mean, he's probably more because he came out of the San Francisco, so he was up under Mike McCarthy. He was in Paul Hack. So, but let's just say these quarterbacks, Skip, Donovan McNabb, Jeff Garcia, Matt Schaub, they put up gigantic numbers in this offense. So I would expect Dak Prescott to put up gigantic numbers. So if you're going to base it on numbers, Skip, Jerry's going to have to pay him $40 million because I believe he's going to put up those type numbers.
So do I hear you starting to root for Dak Prescott against Jerry Jones? I think you are.
Secretly.
I think you are.
Yep.
So you're gonna be like a closet Cowboy fan. But it's really not a Cowboy fan. It's a Dak fan.
It's a Dak Prescott
so what
fan.
you want to happen is Dak puts up huge numbers and they go 8-8, right?
I wouldn't be disappointed with that. As long as Dak get that $40 million. See, once he gets his $40 million, then I can go back to being me, root against the Cowboys.
Got it.
Skip, look, the question is, because when I look at their offense, they have Amari, they have CeeDee Lamb, they have Michael Gallup, Zeke. You say Zeke's going to have a bounce back year. I'm saying Zeke's going to be Zeke, somewhere between 1,300 and 1,500 yards. Offensive line, although Lyle Collins is going to starts the season on IR. My concerns are their defense. I still don't know how good that back end is, Skip. I don't know. And we're going to see Aldon Smith. Everybody's been heaping praise on Aldon Smith. But we're going to see, Skip, practice is one thing. One-on-one drill and slapping a dummy is something is one thing. Getting into a game in which you haven't played in 4 to 5, almost 5 years, Skip, is something entirely different.
If anybody needed 3 or 4 preseason games, that guy did.
He does.
Yeah.
So we're going to see. I don't have a problem. I don't have any concerns with them offensively, Skip, because I think it didn't matter because I think they're going to be able to move the ball. The question is, can they get stopped? The question is, can they move the ball when they need to move the ball? Because as you mentioned, you look at their numbers, they were number 1 in total yards, but when they needed to get more than 9, they couldn't. When they needed to get more than 10, they couldn't. That's the thing. The mark of any great team, offense, defense, no matter what it is, baseball, can you get done what you need to when you absolutely need to, Skip? What good if I got 55 home runs if I'm at the bottom of the 9th and I'm up there with the bases loaded and I strike out or I ground out? I've done nothing. Can you come up with that stop? Can you come up with that first down? Can you get something generated when you need to? I believe Dak